Okay, hi guys. Doing another battle with the BelloLudi Pikes set of rules. The video I did recently, I was just trying to run through the rules and get an idea of how they play, which in general I think is fine. It's very similar to Warlord, to Pike and Shot, although the rules are a lot more concise, and I appreciated that. But they're a little more complex than Pikeman's Lament. So to kind of put it on a continuum, I would say like the Pike and Shot is probably more for like really big battles with 28mm figures. And BelloLudi is written for 28mm miniatures, but I've been playing with 15 at half range, and then Pikeman's Lament is more for like your kind of skirmish and company level actions. And if you're a newer subscriber, I've played some games, a few games of Pikeman's Lament on the channel, so I really like that game a lot. But trying something different. So the last game I put a lot of miniatures on the table, but this time we're doing Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth and Ottomans again. But this time I just went with simpler forces. So in the rules you have brigades of foot or brigades of cavalry. So this time, and I'll go through the forces, here's our Ottoman Cavalry Brigade. So they have two cavalry with lances, and they have one light unit, and I should actually probably adjust their deployment a little bit, because these are Ganulu, so they would probably want to be out in front. Actually, I think I'll put them like this with the heavier Spahi, like that. And yeah, so we've got our brigade of cavalry, and then over here we have our brigade of infantry. So these are Sekban, or basically mercenary infantry. Would have been recruited throughout the Ottoman Empire, especially in the late 16th and especially 17th century. So we've got three small units, I think. I'll have to play through that as we go. And then part of the infantry brigade, but they're over here, is the artillery. In the last video, I didn't try out artillery, so I'm going to do that in this one. And I didn't use points or anything, and the BelloLudi rules, you know, it's not really designed for points. It's designed for scenario play. So the basic scenario is the Ottomans have their kind of garrison here, and they had pretty good spies, so they probably had some intelligence that this Polish force was coming to kind of raid. So we'll go to the Polish forces, and they've brought a unit of light cavalry. So these are Wallachian style cavalry, and then we've got Panzerni, so lancers, and then we've got winged hussars. They're heavy cavalry. So in the last video, I kind of used the more basic list, but there is there is a section of the rules that are advanced unit rules that differentiate types of cavalry. So these guys will be heavy cavalry in this one. And then now I've included the camps in this, and so we've got our wagon train, our Polish wagon train. They're not like a unit. This is more just to show that the Poles have their kind of wagon set up, and the Ottomans have the walled garrison. And then over here we have our Polish infantry brigade. So we've got 3 units. We've got the pike. I just finished painting these last night. I haven't done a painting video on them yet, but these are These are Transylvanian infantry, but they're going to be in Polish service today. So we've got the pike unit, and then we've got their shot, and then we've got a unit of Polish musketeers back there. The kind of the frontages of the units are pretty different, mostly, but the rules in BelloLudi, they don't really specify any kind of frontage, and it's just not really emphasized. But like I said, I'm playing 15 millimeters, so it's designed for 28, so it's just the ranges are going to be halved. So that's what that's the kind of the setup, and then we'll get into the playing. Okay, everyone. I was trying to film a continuous game, but I thought I'd rather just give a report after. I think that would be more interesting, and I think sometimes long game videos I think can be kind of boring if you're not actually playing. So essentially we have a tie between the Ottomans and the Poles. A lot of funny things happened. There were quite a few turns of no orders on either side, so just the command wasn't going through. The casualties we have so both Polish heavy cavalry units were lost, and both armies lost their elite cavalrymen, and so for the scoring, the points in BelloLudi, you have it's based on the brigades. So it's something I kind of underestimated, like while playing, is the brigades themselves and their integrity is important. So both cavalry brigades lost 2/3. The infantry here didn't do too much, just because the Polish forces weren't able to kind of move into the to attack, do like a frontal attack. The infantry over here tried to take out the artillery, but they kept missing, basically. They couldn't get land any hits. The pike here took heavy losses, but they weren't destroyed. The light cavalry in the back ended up kind of just getting in this like duel of evasion, essentially, and I wasn't really rolling for them too much after a while, because they're just sort of going back and forth. But that's kind of what would happen in some of these situations where you've got this kind of light cavalry and it's sort of swirling, and it's not really like decisive all the time. The shooting overall was not really effective. I think if I was going to play these rules with a group, I would probably make the shooting more effective. It's kind of one of my irritations with the pike and shot rules of this period, because I'm not sure what it is. I guess this is kind of going off topic from the game a little bit, but a lot of the pike and shot era rules are written for the English Civil War, and I think there's an assumption based on that these musketeers were not effective, and this gets kind of ported into other rules for the period that deal with totally different armies than like English Civil War armies, and I don't even know if that's really accurate for the English Civil War, that the musketeers weren't that effective. But like in the wars with the Ottomans and the Habsburgs and these conflicts, they fielded a lot of musket infantry. So if they're not effective, or the muskets are just like kind of for effect, it doesn't really make sense to me, and it certainly not really based on the kind of the sources I've read, where the muskets are pretty important in themselves. So I think if I did that, I would probably just make the shooting a little bit more effective, because you have hitting on 5s or 6s, and most of the musket regiments only get 2 shooting dice if it's considered a small unit. And I may have made a mistake, because this would be a large unit, and I think they would get, let's see if they would get another, let's see, large units, shot infantry. Okay, so they would have gotten 4 dice. All right, so I kind of made a mistake on that, so that may have made a difference with the shooting effectiveness. Yeah, okay, so that's just something that I thought about while playing it. It was kind of wild that the hussars and these would have been representing the Kapakulu, basically the palace cavalry, were fought to kind of basically wiped each other out in the last charge, so their last combat. So yeah, I think these rules are like I said, they're fine. They're nice for this kind of game, I think. I just have a few issues with some things, but no rule system is perfect, and I think that's kind of the nice thing about historical wargaming is if you bring your own, if you do research and you can bring that into the game, and that kind of can make the rules, more effective for what you're trying to do. So I think another thing, if I played these rules, I would do my little table that it's not really a table, it's just some notes I made about like having some campaign effects for the armies before they reach the field. And then I probably do some kind of weather effect. I think that's interesting. I played when I met up with the game club. The host had weather effects like each turn, which that was really interesting, because we were playing in the Civil War, and at one point, like, it rained, so the muskets couldn't work, which made things interesting. All right, well, a little bit different format for a battle video for me, but I thought this might be more interesting. Also, I had some cat-related interventions into the game, so that was that kind of disrupted the flow a little bit. And while they were kind of funny, I didn't really want to keep them in the video and make it awkward. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys, and I will talk to you in the next video.